In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Hey, you crazy kids. You fine, feathered feline friends of mine. How are you doing? My name is Jake Johnson. I'm your host for this evening's podcast, which is, of course, Untethered Live, the deep end. Taking you off the edge. And bringing you into reality. One step at a time. One page at a time. Coming to you live from the internet. From untold parts of the world. How are you? How is the new year? Did everybody have a great New Year's Eve? Did you go out and get drunk and kiss somebody? I know I did. That's a lie. I slept through the whole thing. Make up whatever stories you like. It's good to be back. That one day off was killing me. I couldn't take it. I was going to take a whole week off. It's just too important. There's too much going on. There's too many things happening in this world. To take a day off and not talk about what's important. And of course, what's important is the Word of God. And tonight, we're going to endeavor to go through the annals of the book of Job, chapter 24, verse 9. That's where we're at. If you got your Bibles handy, crack them open, and that's where we'll start this afternoon. Just gonna breeze a little while and talk about money until everybody gets here. Look, it's a new year. And this is a podcast. This is episode 307. That's a little shy of 2 years of free programming. That's 8 hours a week. And for 8 hours a week, that means I have to prepare for 8 to 10 hours before I film that 8 hours a week, which is basically 20 hours a week for me. On top of my job, my day job, and trying to remodel my house. So to say that I'm putting in the effort is an understatement. And also to say that I'm strapped is an understatement. So we're going to try something new for the new year. This is what's going to happen. There's at least 40 people that watch this show regularly and all the way through. 40 people. Only about 15 of them will come to the live show, and the rest of them watch during the week. But look, it's important. This is not free. It costs me money and overhead to make this happen. It ain't a lot. If I could get all 40 of those people to dedicate, say, $5 a month or $10 a month or something like that, that would go a long way. I would never presume to put a dollar amount on anything, but there's like 2 people that are carrying this show right now, and that's not fair. two people. I have two supporters. The rest of you just take everything I can give. And that's fine. That's why I'm doing it. I want you to understand I'm not dunning you for money. I'm asking for support. If you value what it is that I do. If you think that what I'm doing is important and that it needs to be out there. I think it does. I think the world is going crazy. And I think that anybody that can hear the truth needs to hear it at least once in their life. And unfortunately, 50 years ago, most of America knew the truth. Now, most of America deny the truth. They outright turn their backs on it. They don't want to hear it. So you need somebody abrasive and somebody willing to put in the effort and willing to go, even if nobody's watching, because somebody will eventually watch. That's me. That's me. That's what I've set out to do. I've set out to do it 3 times, and if I do it 100 times, that's great. But 3 times. That's 6 years. 6 years I've dedicated to this podcast. 20 hours a week. 6 years. If you can help, please do. If you want to help. If you want to be part of this. If you decide to do that, monthly stipend obviously will give you a wrench and all the special features that this podcast has to offer, including clips and things like that, and special videos, and you'll get to talk to me personally and ask personal questions, things you wouldn't ask on a live stream, and I'll answer them 24/7. Of course, you'll get my email address. You'll get my phone number. You'll be able to contact me. You'll be a member of this church if you decide to do that. If you don't, that's fine too. As always, there is a support link. You can go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. You can also hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon, and you can hit the like button. That gets us out there. Sharing the video, pressing the like button. That's important too. Not just about money. Echoes. Please don't tell me this whole podcast has been echoing. Let me see what I got going on here. Is that better? Did it go away? Bad echo, Jesus. Well, scrap everything I just said then. It doesn't matter. Thanks for telling me. Go figure. I try to say something important and it'd be echoing. I got an update last week and it's been haywire ever since. So I think what happened was one of my plugins for audio got switched. I'll have to fix that later. So I'll recap. If you want to become a member, if you could have heard anything I said a minute ago, if you want to pledge monthly and get the perks of being able to contact me 24/7, becoming a full-fledged wrench, and getting special clips and videos that are done just for you, like deep dives or debunkings or whatever you want. You can go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand, or you can press that like button and subscribe. You can also share the video. That will help us get out and reach more people. That's a grassroots kind of way of doing this. Obviously, the more likes we get, the more YouTube will propagate it and push the videos out. The longer you watch the video, the more that counts towards them wanting to share it with other people. And also, you can just send it to people with that share button. Doesn't cost anything. It's free. So you can support that way, too. You don't have to do money. Money's just one thing that makes the world go round. It's not the only thing. Friendship is another thing. It's very important. Loyalty is very important. Honor is very important. All of those things make the world go around also. So if you can help, do, and if you don't want to help, don't. Where's April at? Did they forget we were doing a podcast on Sunday nights? I guess I need to send them a text. Let's see what we got here. You want my number, don't you? Well, if you can see the reflection in my glasses, you can have it. Don't do that. Yo, where you at, girl? With a U? There she is, right in front of my face. I just sent you a text. Sorry about the echo. That was OBS's fault. They put a update, and the update changed one of my plugins. As I was saying before, though, for the people just tuning in April, I'm not talking to you, so close your ears. There's 2 people carrying this podcast. That's not fair. So if you can help, do so. Out of the 40 that watch it, there's 2 that help. There should be more like 30. Make it a lot cheaper. How you doing, April? Did you guys have a good New Year's? I'm done with the money thing, by the way. I was trying to make a point about making the world go round and keeping us safe from tyranny and the like, and having a person that will dedicate time and energy. And I was talking about we're at 307. That's just shy of 2 years of programming. That's 20 hours a week of work for me. Ask anybody that does a podcast, they'll tell you. That's on top of my day job and remodeling my house. And I still don't have running water. But it rains a lot, so we're good. You were quarantined? For what? Aren't you in Florida? Kevin is sick. Does he have the COVID? Good. Take care of him. Keep him hydrated. Listen to me very carefully. Keep him hydrated. That's electrolytes. Go to the store and buy some electrolytes. I forget what it's called now, but you can find it in any drugstore. It looks like Gatorade, but it's called something else. Make him drink one of those a day. Need electrolytes. 2, make sure that he breathes. Sit him up every hour. Do not let him lay in one spot longer than an hour. How do I know these things? Because I survived COVID twice. Can you get COVID twice? Yes. I've never worn a mask, not once, except for when I went to court. I did do that because it's court. It's about my kids. So, other than that, I've never changed my habits. I don't wash my hands. I don't use antibacterial soap. And I have never been allowed anyone to jab me with anything. Ever. And I'm fine. Because don't go to the hospital. Let me tell you what to do. How sick is he? Is he very sick or just he feels terrible? If he's very sick, go to the hospital yourself and talk to a doctor. And this is what you ask. Write this down. Monoclonal antibodies. Monoclonal antibodies. Ivermectin. Ivermectin. That's 2 medications that will knock it out in 24 hours. Do not do the Z-Pack. What is the matter with you? You want his lungs to stop working? Do not allow anyone to put him on a ventilator for any reason, no matter how bad his breathing is. If you assist lungs, they stop working. Most people, 90%, that go on a ventilator do not come off of a ventilator. So make sure that doesn't happen. I guess the Z-Pack's okay. That could be one regimen. But make sure if he's really sick, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Florida will give it to you for free. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure your governor is giving it out for free. So ask somebody. Those are the two. It'll knock it out 24 hours flat. Other than that, electrolytes and sit up every hour and turn in the bed every hour. Don't let him lay in one spot all night, because that'll cause him to get pneumonia, and that complicates things. If he's overweight, make sure he walks around the room once a day. That's how you beat COVID, friends. And then, once you beat it, you never have to worry about it again because your body now has immunity. You can catch it again, but you'll just get sick, like the cold. That's what Omicron is, by the way. It's just a cold. That's what they gave him. Oh, they've already given him the monoclonal antibodies. Good. He'll be over it before the week's in. He hasn't taken a breathing treatment, although they said he needed it. But don't think so. I don't think so either. He had pneumonia when he went to get checked. That's because he laid in one spot. And that's where they diagnosed him with COVID. Yeah. Be careful of that. He may just have pneumonia. I don't know. I can't see him, but I would say be careful of that. But if he's had monoclonal antibodies, he'll be over it in no time. I don't know about the pneumonia. That may take a little longer, but the COVID will be out. It works almost immediately from what I understand. All right. Enough lecturing. You guys doing good? Hey, you're out of here, Russian dude. And tell Kevin that we're all praying for him. And that we're pulling that he gets through this quickly. Thank you. All right. I'm ready to get my mojo rolling. It's 8:16. We're going to go on to about 8:20 and then we'll get started. Because I don't see a Diego or anybody else. Cheese Bear. I do see a Caucasian Sasquatch in April. It is a new year, though. There's 3 people here. And probably still everybody's still recuperating from Friday night. I would be. Will do, Jake. I hope. I hope so, too. You just let him know we're praying. And I'm sorry he's got the COVID. Are you driving your life away? Are you wishing for a rainy day? I gotta go get some food. I'm starving. We'll get some food, baby. I got some food right over here. I got some chili waiting on me. My sister made me a bowl of chili. And I had a nice hot shower today, and I feel wonderful. Except I got something in my ear. I did the Q-tips and pushed some wax in my ear, and now I can't hear out of my right ear. Kind of hurts. Hey, there's a 420. What's happening, my brother? If you're just joining us, sorry about the echo at the beginning. I got an update, and it changed one of my plugins, but I fixed it. But listen through the echo, and what I said still stands. I'll have to go back and listen to it and see if you can even understand it. I may have to cut that part out. How are you, 420? Did you enjoy your New Year's Eve? Sasquatch the tornado video last night was hilarious. Can't get it out of my head. I laughed just thinking about it. Well, that's sweet. Yeah, Caucasian, I've been spying on your channel. You're doing real good, my friend. My bro, my blood, my cuz. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. You're getting there fast. I was admiring your numbers last night. In the wee hours of the morning as I tossed and turned to and fro, trying to find a spot where my legs didn't feel like sacks of potatoes. All right, you guys ready to roll? I guess it's time enough, huh? Ain't no time like today time. If you got your Bibles handy, crack them open to Job, that great book of Job, chapter 24, verse 9. That's where we're going to start. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaf from the hungry, which make oil within their walls, and tread their wine presses, and suffer thirst, meaning they do the work, they don't drink any of the product. Men groan from out of the city, and the souls of the wounded crieth out. Yet God layeth not folly to them. He doesn't suffer any fools. He makes a plan, he tells you what he wants, and he expects you to uphold it. They are those that rebel against the light. That's God. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. They have no idea what's expected of them in this new generation of people that aren't even listening to the old guys anymore. They're not even working towards learning. They rebel against the light. Pure instinct. They don't even know what they're doing, but they rebel anyway. Much like our kids are doing today. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, and in the night is as a thief. He's stealthy. He's moving around without anybody watching. They eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me that distinguisheth his face. I will be like a ninja. I will sneak around and nobody will even know I'm there. And in the dark they dig through houses, which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. Those are the burglars that roam around and look to see who's at home and who's not, and if the grass is a little tall, or if the mail is piling up on the doorsteps, and they pick those little places out, and then they come back at night and rob the place. I've been privy to that myself. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one of them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because God is my witness and my right hand and my staff. That's probably paraphrased. I don't remember the exact quote. You got it. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the ways of the vineyard. Drought and heat consume the snow waters. Global warming, anyone? So doth the grave those which have sinned. Now this book was written 4,000 years ago, roughly. And they're talking about drought and heat consuming the snow waters, like in Antarctica or at the tops of the mountain peaks. You know, where the scientists say, look, the ice is melting. The seas are going to rise. Cats and dogs will be living together. It's going to be pandemonium. No. If water rises, people will move. That's how it works. They'll go inland. There will never be no land. We're never going to live in a water world. You might lose a city or two, but people will move. It's not going to be like instantaneous. You're not going to wake up one day and just have a tidal wave take out New York. Not unless an asteroid hits close by. That could happen. Not likely. I think God knows what he's doing. And also, I think there was a time for that, and that time is past. And now we have Jupiter, and Jupiter sucks up all the big asteroids. And we have an atmosphere which burns up all the little ones. So they never actually hit the ground very often. Didn't know if you knew that or not, but just so you know, we're not sitting ducks in a shooting gallery like the scientists would have you think. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreateth the barren, and the barren that beareth not. The barren, meaning you can't have children. he evil, entreateth the barren that beareth not, and doth not good to the widow. He's not a good man. That's a thief. That's a bad guy. He draweth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up. No man is sure of life. What he's saying here is that you don't know for sure that you have a tomorrow. You could die tonight. You could die right now. It could happen that fast and you'd just be no more. No man is sure of life. But these men, they rely on that power. They rely on that strength, that perceived strength. It's not strength. It's wickedness. Though it be given him to be in safety whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. He's watching. He's always watching. He's looking to see where he can get his little fingers in or get a little edge in, get a little angle going. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so now, who will take me a liar? Who's going to call me a liar? Even if this isn't happening right this second as I say it, how are you going to call me a liar when you've seen it happen yourself? You see people like this out there today, all the rioters and the agent provocateurs and the people out there causing all the problems, and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Susan Wojciechis and all the other people of the world that are trying to scare the shit out of you with all this terror on TV. You know they exist. Even if it's not happening right this second. How are you going to call me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? When answered Bildad the Shuhite, then he answered and said, dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. I guess he does. It's easy to get peaceful when you're in a high place. Is there any number of his armies? And upon whom doth not his light arise? How then can man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? Can't be. It's not possible. You're born sinful. Your very flesh is sin. Behold, even the moon, and it shineth not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. He's talking about God here. How much less man that is a worm. Excuse me. How much less man that is a worm, and the Son of Man, which is a worm. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? Who are you? Who do you think you are? What power do you think you exude on this planet Earth? What entreats you? What gives you the right to stand before me and take authority? You have none. You are none. You're man. You are subject to God. Period. But Job answered and said, how hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the things as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words? And whose spirit came from thee? Dead things are formed under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. It's just out there. No, it doesn't move. It's sitting there. Everything goes around it. Watch and see. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds, and the clouds not rent under them. The clouds hold the water. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds, until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble, and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth the proud. You know what proud means? We're not talking about being proud of your achievements or, having self-worth or self-righteousness. We're talking about uppityness. We're talking about exalting oneself, being haughty, thinking you're better than everybody else. That kind of pride. I saw that before, the worm in a vision. I swear God was showing me. Well, you just hold on, baby, because God's going to answer all this belly aching. There's like 9 chapters of this belly aching going amongst these 3 men that are sitting around talking to Job. And they're each one trying to explain life to the other one. But then God's going to answer. And wait and see what he says to Job, even though Job is well aware of what God is and what he is to Job. And he has not forsaken God, but he is belly aching a little bit. And God's going to fix that right up. He's going to fix his little red wagon. You watch and see. By his Spirit he hath garnished the heavens, and his hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Who's that? Who's the crooked serpent? Who made that crooked serpent? Lo, these are parts of his ways. But how little a portion is heard of him? But the thunder of his power, who can understand? This is part of what God does. He provides the choice. He provides the dichotomy, the day and night, the yin and yang, the up and down, the left and right, the good, the bad, the light, the darkness. He did it all. But how do you understand it? You can't. You can't wrap your feeble brain around all of it. There's just too much. It's too much. You're going to have to die and go ask him yourself. That's the only way you'll ever know. Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, As God liveth, whom hath taken away my judgment, and the Almighty, who hath vexed my soul. Now he's whining a little bit. All the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. God forbid that I should justify you till I die. I will not remove mine integrity from me. My righteousness holds fast, or I hold it fast. I will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. Let mine enemy be as the wicked, and he that riseth up against me as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the hypocrite, who he hath gained, when God taketh away his soul? Will God hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Yes, he will. Will he delight himself in the Almighty? No, he won't. Will he always call upon God? I will teach you by the hand of God, says Job. That which is the Almighty will I not conceal. Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen it just as I'm saying it. Why then are ye thus altogether vain? Why do you continue in vanity? Don't you know that vanity is one of Satan's best favorite toys? That will get you in the most trouble, vanity. Don't allow vanity in front of you. This is the portion of wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Man cannot survive by bread alone. You need the word of God also. That's the living water that feeds your soul, that keeps you alive. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, he's a rich man, and prepare raiment as the clay. He's got more clothes than he knows what to do with. He may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide that silver. You may gather it, my buddy, but the innocent will wear it. You may collect it, but the poor will receive it. You won't get a portion. That's what the wicked does. He buildeth his house. I'm not having a stroke. I can talk. He buildeth his house as a moth, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. What is it? What is he talking about? The 12 tribes of Abraham were to be people of booths. They made little booths, and they set up kind of like a flea market and had all the tribes around them. And that was what he's saying. That's the keeper. The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. He openeth his eyes, and he is not. Terror take hold on him in his waters. A tempest stealeth him away in the night. That's a great storm comes by and takes him away. The east wind carrieth him away, and he departeth. And as a storm hurleth him out of his place. Hey, there's a Diego. Good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year. Hope you're enjoying it. For God, excuse me. For God shall cast upon him and not spare. He would fain thee out of his hand. Men shall clap their hands at him and shall hiss him out of his place. Now, in the old days, they would wag their heads at you. That was an insult. That was one of these from the old Hebrews. Or they would flick their chins at you. Or they would wag their hands at you like this. This is an insult in ancient Hebrew. That's what he's saying. This is an insult also. This is drawing attention to you. Look at this fool. Surely there is a vein for the silver and a place for gold where they fine it or refine it and make it better, make it pure. Iron. Hey, this book was written 4,000 years ago. Are we talking about smelting metal here? I think we are. Somebody's wrong. Iron is taken out of the earth and brass is molten out of the stone. Now let me ask you a question. When does science, Diego, when does science say we discovered metallurgy? Because this book is 4,000 years old. It's one of the oldest known books of the Bible. And we're talking about smelting metal. We're talking about iron ore here. He seetheth an end to darkness. Maybe I am having a stroke. He setteth an end to darkness. He searcheth out a perfection. The stones of darkness and the shadow of death. What does that mean? That sounds ominous. He, capital H-E, that's God. He set it an end to all the darkness. That means that once you've made your choice and the white throne judgment has happened, all darkness will cease to exist at that moment. It will be cast into the lake of fire with everything else bad. And then there'll be no more darkness. Then there will only be light. But you will have already made your choice of your own free will. And that's the important thing. And he searcheth out all perfection. He's looking for the purest of heart, like refining gold, getting the impurities out. Do you know how to make metal? Well, first you start with a shovel, and you pummel the rock with a shovel or a pick. You beat on it until you break it open and you find a vein. And then you dig that ore, that rock, out of the mountain, and you bring it to a facility. And then you pummel it into powder. You grind it, you beat on it until it's nothing but powder. And then you run it through fire and melt it. And you burn it, and it pops and sparks and flashes. That's all the impure little rotten things, little bad things coming out. You're out of here, Russian dude. And then they take that liquid and pour it onto a flat surface, and it makes a sheet. And it's bright orange, hot, and it cools. And then they cool it until it reaches a tensile strength. And then they heat it up again. And this time, they fold it. And then they beat it. And then they fold it. And then they beat it. And then they fold it. and they beat it until it smashes out flat again. Every time they fold it and beat it till it's flat. Fold it, fold it, fold it, beat it till it's flat. Every time they fold it, they increase its strength. They add a little bit of carbon steel and fold it in and beat it until it's flat, mixes it in and gives it that hardness. And now you've got pure iron, baby. The stuff that can hold up the world. But think of all of the beating and the burning that it took to take that rock and turn it into that bridge or that building or that I-beam or that car. Something beautiful was made. If you make a sword, now you've got art. Now you take that wrought iron and you start polishing it with a stone, and you rub it and you rub it and you polish it and you smooth it and you sharpen it and you work it until it shines like a diamond, and it's so sharp it can cut the hairs off of your arm. Then it becomes a work of art. Do you see the process that goes from filth, just dirt, into something beautiful? That's what's happening in your soul right now. The same process makes you a man or a woman, makes your soul right for God. The same process. You have to be broken before you can begin to grow. When you have a plant, when you transplant a plant, you break it, and then you put it over here, and you let it grow, and you prune it, you break it, and make it grow more. And you keep breaking it until it grows more. That's how you do it. World ain't supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to feel good. You're going to get broken. You're going to get hurt. That's what makes you grow. That's what makes you strong. Trust me, I am not lying to you. I may be the best friend you've ever had. Look at me. Look in my eyes. I'm the best friend you've ever had because I tell you the truth. Somebody else might too. I don't know. I don't know everybody. But I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is, you're in for a world of hurt. This ain't a fun place to be. You know why? You're not from here. You're just here for now. You're of here, but not from here. You will eventually go back to where you're from. Thank you, dear. The flood breaketh out from it the inhabitant. It breaks from beneath the earth. It's already there. It's been there. It's here now. Where did the floodwaters come from? Ever heard of Pangea? Pangea is what science calls when all the continents were one big landmass. That's what the earth looked like when God created it. There were no oceans. There were just seas and rivers. And then the deep broke open, and 10 miles of compressed water came forth like an avalanche out of the oceans, out of the deep, and flooded the whole earth. And then through a process called liquefaction, which is where the water seeps down beneath the sand and the limestone, it fell off into the low places and raised up the high places. And then we've had mountain ranges. And if you'll notice on the map, everywhere there's a mountain range, out into the ocean, there is a trench where the water came up from the deep and pushed that mountain range up as it came out. Every mountain range on the face of the earth fits that description because that's how it happened. Where's the floodwaters at? The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, all the other oceans I can't think of. There's 7 of them, according to pirates. The flood breaketh out from its inhabitants. Even the waters forgot of the foot. Foot's never touched it. It's been under the ground this whole time. You've never walked in this water. This is new water, water that was not on the surface. They are dried up and are gone away from men. As for the earth, out of it cometh bread. Under it is turned up, as it were fire. What's under the earth? Magma. How did this man know that? He's right. The soil is like bread, being cooked from beneath by magma. Did you know that if you go down about 8 miles, the dirt takes on a different property than it does now, and it's more like plastic? It's congealed. And that's just before you reach the liquid magma. And it's very hot. He knew that. This guy, 4,000 years ago. This guy who does not have an iPhone knew that. Is it possible that in the old days, people were inherently smarter than we are now? They knew things intuitively that we don't know now. Ever tried to build a pyramid? Try it. Bet you can't do it. The stones of it are the place of sapphires. That's also true. And it hath dust of gold. That's also true also. Where do you get sapphires? The magma brings it up from the center of the earth and pushes it into veins, and then people dig down and find it. It's a process that happens from volcanic activities. And there are veins of gold all through the earth also. And this guy knew it. You know, that guy that writes with chicken bones on parchment paper? That guy. He knew this stuff. This is science fact right here, folks. There is a path which no fowl knoweth. Are we talking about the jet stream now? I think we are. And which the vulture's eye hath not seen. The lion's whelps have not trodden it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. But it's there. It's there. You don't believe me? Fly a plane every now and then. Is there a path which no fowl knoweth, and which the vultures hath not seen? I read that, sorry. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock, and he overturned the mountains by the roots. Yeah, that's what happened when the flood came. He cutteth out rivers among the rocks, and his eye seeth every precious thing. That's you too. He bindeth the floods from overflowing. And the thing that is hid, bringeth he forth to light. That means that he knows all the secrets, and he'll bring it to light. Jesus said, there's nothing new under the sun. In the end times, all that which is a mystery will be made known. There will be no more secrets. We will learn everything. It's just going to take us time to get there. But where shall wisdom be found? Ah, wisdom. Two double-edged sword there. And where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof. We don't know what the price is for all of this. Neither is it found in the land of the living. Nobody really knows. The depth saith, the deep, it is not in me. And the sea saith, it's not with me. I don't know what the price is either. I'm just here. How did I get here? I'm just here, baby. God put you here, that's how. The very first line, and God's Spirit moved across the face of the deep. That's Genesis 1. Guess what? That's not talking about the ocean. It's talking about space. That's the deep. Then he put the waters there. And then he divided the waters. And then he put things in the water. And then he made trees and birds. And then he stretched out the heavens and put stars in it. Is that possible? Well, yes, a tree can survive for 24 hours without sunlight. How do I know it was 24 hours and not 1,000 years? Because the Bible says 1,000 years is one day, and one day is 1,000 years. Because of the article, the first day. That is a 24-hour period, not a 2,000-year period or a 1,000-year period or a million-year period. There are no gods of the gaps. The Bible says it because it's true. You got snow in Tennessee? Wow. It cannot be gotten for gold. You can't buy it. Neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. You can't buy it. There's some things money can't buy, and happiness ain't one of them. Anybody that's ever said money can't buy happiness didn't have any money. I can buy a whole lot of happy with money. I promise. Give me some. I'll show you. But you can't buy wisdom. You can't buy understanding. You can't buy the knowledge of the price of this world. And what is the price of this world? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believeth upon him would have everlasting life and not perish. That's the price. Why did God ask Abraham to kill Isaac? Do you think he wanted him to? No. He wanted to know that he was willing to. That's it. God wanted to know, if I'm going to give up my son for this wretched place, would they do it for me? So he asked, Abraham, will you sacrifice your son for me? And you know what Abraham said? I can imagine what he said. Jesus, I have to kill my son for this man? For this God? Well, he is my God. I imagine he wrestled with it a lot. I imagine it wasn't an easy choice to make. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. And I can tell you I would give my life now, without question, without hesitation, for both of them, either one of them, for any reason, without question, now. If that's what it takes. Would I kill either one of them? Not on your life. I'm not that loyal. I'll go to hell first. But Abraham was smart enough to know that God was his creator. He's spoken to him. He knew him personally. So, of course, he would say, yes, Father, if that's what you require, I know you'll bless me in the future. I'll do as you ask. And then he proceeded to do it. He got the knife. He got the boy. He went to the mountaintop. He built the fire. He put the boy in the fire, tied him down, and started to light the fire. And God said, whoa, here's a lamb. Sacrifice that instead. Get your boy off of there. I didn't want you to kill him. I just wanted to know you would, because what I've got in store is going to save everybody. But it's going to take a sacrifice that's going to cost me everything. And that's my son, my only son, the only one. And I'm going to give him for you. But I wanted to make sure that you were ready for that, and that I was ready for that. It cannot be valued with gold or ophir or onyx, with the precious onyx or the sapphire. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels or fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or pearls, or the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold. There is nothing on this earth more valuable than the cost of this earth. You can't buy it. You must give it freely. Whence then cometh wisdom? Which is female, by the way. Read Revelations. And where is the place of understanding? That's the second or third time he's asked that question. Where is the wisdom and where is the understanding? Do you understand yet? Are you wisening up yet? Do you get it? Can you see what this is? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living. How many's that? It's everybody. And kept close from the fowls of the air. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof of wisdom and understanding. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven. He sees everything. To make the weight for the winds, and he weighteth the waters by measure. He knows every ounce of water that is on this plain. Planet, which means small plain, folks. which is housed by a universe, which means a single spoken phrase. What was that single spoken phrase? Let there be. When he made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of the thunder. Didn't science tell us that the ancients used to think that lightning was God's punishment on man? They didn't understand it, so they just thought it was God being angry. Here's an ancient person explaining what's happening in sky. The thunder cracks and the lightning comes forth. I think they understood it very well. I think science is idiots. Keep in mind, there is no doubt of the validity of the age of this book. This is among the first documents that we have record of. You can argue till you're blue in the face whether it's legitimate or not, but it is in fact that old. And here inside of it are in fact a bunch of facts about history and science. Things that scientists today are telling us they didn't know back then. Yet I'm reading it. Then did he see it and declare it, and he prepared it, yea, and searched it out. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. I'll read that again, because that's important. And unto man he said, behold, open your eyes and listen to me right now. Hear what I say to you. The fear, that's reverence, not terror, of the Lord, that's God Almighty, all capital letters, is wisdom. You want to be wise? Fear the Lord. That's the only way. That is wisdom. And to depart from evil, to get away from bad things, is understanding. That both of those sentences, separated by a semicolon, are definitive facts. You cannot deny, you cannot change it. They are singular in their expression. There isn't an if and then. There isn't a but. They are two small sentences with one subject and one object and one narrative. Fear God, you'll be wise. Get away from evil, you'll find understanding. Why? Because evil clouds your mind. That's its purpose. Bad things deceive you. Good things enlighten you. You ever seen somebody that was so full of light that they shined, that they just effervesced, their very presence just made you giddy? That's a man or woman who has God. They're not bogged down by all the evil things. They figured out the way. Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, oh, that I were as in the months past. Oh, in my younger days, I was a bad mofo when I was a young man. As in the days when God preserved me, when he protected me, when that hedge was around me, and nothing could hurt me. Everything I did was successful. When his candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. Oh, only to go back to those days. As I was in the days of my youth, when the secret of God was upon my tabernacle, my spirit, my temple. When the Almighty was yet with me. When my children were about me. And when I washed my steps with butter, and the rocks poured me out rivers of oil. When I was out of the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the streets, the young men saw me and hid themselves, And the aged rose with respect and stood up. They knew me. They understood who I was. The princes refrained talking. They'd stop talking when I walked in the room just to see if I had anything to say. Princes did that and laid their hand on their mouths in silence. The nobles held their peace, and their tongues cleaved under the roof of their mouth when I walked in the room. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, it gave witness to me, because I delivered the poor that cried, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. Now he's being arrogant. This is shortly before God's going to get a hold to him, by the way. He's getting a little carried away with his own haughtiness, his own pride, which is undoubtedly why God allowed this little test to occur in the first place, which has been asked many times. Why did God let the devil just attack Job? Because he wanted to see what the man was made of. He wanted to test his mettle. He wanted to see if he really was a righteous man of God or if he was a little sniveling worm that couldn't take it when the heat was turned on. That's why. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me, and my judgment was as a robe and a diadem. A diadem. It's a piece of clothing. I was eyes to the blind, and feet was I to the lame. I was father to the poor, and the cause which I knew not, I searched out. I looked for it. I'm woke as they come, baby. I am a real hero. Look at me. Pat me. Me. Never mind you, me. And I break the jaws of the wicked and pluck the spoils out of his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and I shall multiply my days in the sand, as the sand. My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew lay all night upon my branch. He's talking about his penis now, in case you're not getting the metaphor. My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hands. It never wore out. I could just fling arrows daily and nightly. Unto me men gave ear, and waited, and kept silent at my counsel. After my words, they spake not again. They were speechless when I was done. And my speech dropped upon them like weight. They understood me. It was heavy, man. I was the man. And they waited for me as for the rain. They were hungry for every word that came out of my mouth. They ate it up. They opened their mouths wide as for the latter rain. What does that mean, the latter rain? That's when Jesus comes back. There's a period of turmoil, and then there's a period of salvation. And the book calls that the first and the latter rain. The latter rain is the dispensation of grace. We are in the dispensation of teaching right now. Make sense? Hope so, because I couldn't explain it any better than that. If I laughed on them, they believed it not. And the light of my countenance they cast not down. I chose out their way, and sat chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one that comforteth the mourners. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision. Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. I wouldn't have even let them eat with my animals. Now they have me in derision. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hand profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Who cut up mallows by the bushes, the mallow tree? It's kind of like marshmallow. It's not actual marshmallow, but it is a mallow tree. And the juniper's roots of their meat. You can eat juniper. They were driven forth among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed. Among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men, simpletons, people with no intelligence. They were viler than the earth. And now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. They have all but forgotten me. It's just a faint memory, the words, the lyrics of a song in the wind, a byword to those vile, unintelligent children who gather under the nettles and the brayed bushes. Viler than the earth itself, dwelling in rocks and cliffs and caves and valleys. Men that cry after them as a thief. Now they just barely remember me. Oh, woe is me. They abhor me. They hate me. They flee far from me and spare not the spit in my face. Because he hath loosed my cord and afflicted me, he, God. They gave also, let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth. They push away my feet, and they raise up against me in the ways of their destruction. They mar my path. They set forward my calamity. They have no helper. They came upon me as a wide breaking in of waters. You know what a break is? If you live in Florida, you know what a break is. A water break. Breakwater. They came upon me like that. Fast and furious and then smooth and stealthy. In the desolation, they rolled themselves upon me like the waves. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my soul as the wind, and my welfare passeth away as a cloud. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold upon me. My bones are pierced in me in the night season. And my sinew take no rest. I'm aching all over. My bones are like glass and fire. I'm in trouble. By the great force of my disease is my garment changed. It bindeth me about as the collar of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I am become like dust and ashes. I'm nothing. There's nothing left. I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me. I stand up, and thou regardest me not. Thou art become cruel to me. With thy strong hand. Now he's getting very close to cursing God here. He's talking to God now. He was talking to the men, now he's talking to God. Thou art become cruel to me. With thy strong hand thou opposeth thyself against me. Thou liftest me up to the wind. Thou causest me to ride upon it, and dissolvest my substance. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death. I know you're going to kill me, and to the house appointed for all living. Howbeit, he will not stretch out his hand to the grave, though they cry in his destruction. He won't give them comfort when they're crying at my death. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? When I looked for good, then evil came unto me, and when I waited for the light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested not. The days of affliction prevented me. I went mourning without the sun. I stood up and I cried in the congregation, and I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls, wicked and wise. My skin is black upon me. My bones are burned with heat. I'm running a fever. My skin is chafing. It's diseased. My harp also is turned to mourning, and my organ, that's my brain and my heart, into the voice of them that weep. Harp, organ, just so you know. I made a covenant with mine eyes. I made a promise. When they should, I think, upon a maid, For what portion of God is there above, from above? And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction of the wicked, or to the wicked? And a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? Doth not he see my ways? And count all my steps? If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hasted to deceit, or I moved quickly towards something that's deceptive, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity. You know what a balance is? A scale, the scales of justice. Let my heart be weighed in an even balance, so that God can see what kind of integrity I have. We must all be weighed, and most of us will be found wanting. If my step hath turned out of the way, and mine heart walked after mine eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to mine hands, then let me sow, and let another eat. Yea, let my offspring be rooted out. Just get rid of me from the ground up if I've done any of these things. If mine heart have been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at my neighbor's door to kill him, then let my wife grind unto another, and let the others bow down upon her. Let everybody have her, if I've done any of those things. That's a pretty severe punishment, by the way. To watch other men grinding on your wife, I don't think I could take it. For this is an heinous crime. Yea, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judges. For it is a fire that consumeth to destruction, and would root out all mine increase. I would have nothing left. If I despise the cause of my manservant, or of my maidservant, when they contended me, or when they contended with me, what then shall I do when God riseth up? And when he visiteth, what shall I answer him? Did not he that made me in the womb make him? No. And did not one fashion us in the womb? Yes, he did. And if I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused their eyes of the widow to fail, caused the eyes of the widow to, sorry, I can't read either, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, if I've been selfish, and the fatherless hath not eaten thereof, if I ate it all up and didn't share it. For from my youth he was brought up with me. I knew God from the beginning, as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. That's wisdom. If I have seen any perish for want or clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, if he were not warmed by the fleece of my sheep, if I hadn't given him something to wear, if I have lifted up mine hand against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, then let mine arms fall off from my shoulder blades, and mine arm be broken from the bone. For destruction from God was a terror to me, and by reason of his highness I could not endure it. If I have made my gold my hope, if that's the thing I'm working for, just money, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much, if I've beheld the sun when it shined, or moon walking in brightness, and my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand, kissed the ring as it were, this also were an iniquity, to be punished by the judge. Who's the judge? God Almighty is. For I should have denied the God that is above. Yeah, if you've done any of those things, you are denying God who's above. You can't do that. You must put God first. Don't worship things, worship God. God will provide things, you worship God. If I rejoice at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. I've never even cursed anybody before. If the men of my tabernacle said not, oh, that we had of his flesh, we cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. If I covered my transgressions as Adam, by lying about it, by hiding mine iniquity in my bosom, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me, that I kept silence and went not out of the door? Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me. Isn't it everybody's desire that the Almighty would answer us? And that mine adversary had written a book so that I could learn his ways. Surely I would have taken it upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me. I would declare unto him the number of my steps, as a prince would I go near unto him. If my land cry against me, or that the furrows likewise thereof complain, if I have eaten the fruits thereof without money, if I took it without paying for it, or have caused the owners thereof to lose their life, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and cockle instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. He has spoken. I have spoken. If this is what I am, if you think I'm guilty of any of this, then cut me off at the root. Let all my stuff go bad. Let my crops grow thistles and barley instead of barley, and cockles and cockle-doodle-doos. Just kill me now. Wipe me off the face of the earth if I'm guilty. I've spoken. This is the way. So these three men, ceased to answer Job. Okay, buddy, okay. Because he was righteous in his own eyes. What does that mean? That means self-righteous. You know what self-righteous means? It means haughty. Too big for your britches, is what my mama used to say. He's gotten a little big for his britches. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. Sounded like it, didn't it? Sounded like he was doing all of this. Sounded like he was taking credit for all the good he was doing in the world. Not once did I hear him say, though but the grace of God go I. Also, against his three friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. He's going to die. I mean, the man's eat up with disease. He's dying. Now, Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elders. They were older than him, so he gave them the respect of saying everything. But he was mad. And the more Job spoke, the hotter he got. And when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young, and ye are very old. Congratulations, Captain Obvious. You've learned something. Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not show you mine opinion. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. Yeah. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Correct. Therefore I said, hearken to me. I will show you also my opinion. Behold, I waited for your words. I gave ear to your reasons, whilst you searched out what to say. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, or that answered his words. lest ye would say, we have found out wisdom. God trusteth him down, not man. God thrusteth him down, not man. God is punishing Job, not man. Now, he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They were amazed. They answered no more. They left off speaking. When I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still, and answered no more. I said, I will answer also my part. Here's another guy joining the conversation. I will also show my opinion. For I am full of matter. The spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine which hath not vent. It's pure fermented. It is ready to burst like new bottles. It has built up pressure and nobody has burped the bag. I will speak, that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Well, get to it already, buddy. I'm getting old here. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me for flattering titles unto men. For I know not to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches, and hearken unto all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. Guy might be a little full of himself, I think. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If thou canst answer me, set thy words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon thee. Surely thou hast spoken in my hearing. I have heard the voice of thy words, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Is that true? Do you think he's without blemish? There's only one that I know of that is without spot or blemish, and that was Christ. This man absolutely was full of sin. He's a man, after all. He's the only one that doesn't think so. Behold, he findeth occasion against me. He counteth me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks, or the handcuffs. He marketh all my paths. Behold, in this thou art not just. I will answer thee, that God is greater than man. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth no account of any of his matters. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instructions, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from that man. Is this man saying that when you go into REM sleep, that's when God is programming your mind to function as it should? I think he might be saying that, and I think science would back that up. That's what subconscious is. You're not aware of it. You have nothing to do with it, yet it refreshes you nightly. Excuse me. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. his flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. That's what Job looks like right now. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him. And he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. Only God can do that. Job cannot. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit. That means if you confess your sin, you will save being put into the pit. And if his life shall see the light, lo, all these things worketh God oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me. Hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify thee. If not, hearken unto me. Hold thy peace, and I shall teach thee wisdom. Really, you young man. Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me. Ye that have knowledge. If you're smart, pay attention to what I'm saying now. For the ear trieth words, and the mouth tasteth its meat. Let us choose to us judgment. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God hath taken away my judgment. Should I lie against my right? Would my wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water, which goeth in company with the workers of iniquity, and walketh with wicked men? For he hath said, It profiteth a man nothing, that he should delight himself with God. Another man said something similar. Jesus said, It profiteth a man not to gain everything and lose his soul. It doesn't matter how much you gain. What matters is how you preserve your soul. Therefore hearken unto me, ye men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. That's correct. For the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. That's that weighing of justice again. Yea, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Who hath given him a charge over the earth, or who hath disposed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. Now, if thou hast understanding, hear this. Hearken to the voice of my words. Shall even he that hateth right govern? Yeah, well, they're doing it right now. And wilt thou condemn him that is most just? Is it fit to say to a king, Thou art wicked, and to princes, Ye are ungodly? Well, if they're ungodly and wicked, yes. How much less to him, meaning God, accepteth not the persons of princes, nor regardeth the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. Doesn't matter, rich or poor, big or small. God made you, and that you all have in common. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight, and pass away. and the mighty shall be taken away without hands. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings and his comings, his walking tos and fros. There is no darkness, nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity have hid themselves, or may hide themselves. For he will not lay upon man more than right. God will never put more on you than you can handle. That's what he just said right here. He will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with God. You want to be right with God? Let him do the calling, shot calling. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others on their stead. Therefore he knoweth their works, and he overturneth them in the night, so that they are destroyed. And he striketh them as wicked men in the open fight of others, because they turned back from him, and would not consider any of his ways, so that they caused the cry of the poor to come unto him, and he heareth the cry of the afflicted. And when he had given quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be bone against a nation, or against a man only, that the hypocrite reign not, lest the people be ensnared. What happens when the hypocrites run the country? The people become ensnared. That's what quarantine is. The government running your life, which is not constitutional. Thank you, Diego. I am speaking attentively as you listen attentively. Surely it is meet, or it is helpful, to be said unto God, I have borne chastisement. I will not offend any more. That which I see not teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do it no more. Should it be according to thy mind, he will recompense it, whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, and not I. Therefore speak what thou knowest. Let men of understanding tell me. Let a wise man hearken unto me. Job hath spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. True. He's a little arrogant. And my desire is that Job may be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he addeth rebellion unto his sin. He clappeth his hands among us, and multiplieth his word against God. Elihu spake moreover, and said, Thinkest thou this to be right, that thou saidst, My righteousness is more than God's? He did say that. For thou saidst, What advantage will it be unto thee? And what profit shall I have, if I be cleansed from my sin, and answer thee? I will answer thee, and thy compassion with thee. Look unto the heavens, and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. I'll be right back. Got to use the little boy's room. I'll be back. Watch this quick little sound. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? This is a great chapter for us to hear attentively. Yes, it is. All right. If thou sinnest, what dost thou against him? Or if thou transgressions be multiplied, what dost thou unto him? If thou be righteous, what givest thou him? Or what receiveth he of thine hand? Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art, and thy righteousness may profit the son of a man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the Almighty. But none saith, Where is God my Maker? For who giveth songs in the night? Who teacheth us more than the beasts of the earth, and maketh us wiser than the fowls of heaven? There they cry, but none giveth answer, because of the pride of evil men, because it's not possible to attain that knowledge. No one can grasp the meaning of God. No one can clearly understand his motives or his ways. They only know that he exists and that we should be lucky to have part of that. And that's it. That's the thing in a nutshell. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. He doesn't care. God is no respecter of persons. He sees everybody equally the same, his children. Although thou sayest thou shalt not see him, yet judgment is before him. Before thrust thou in him. Therefore trust thou in him. I'm getting bad at this. But now, because it is not so, he hath visited his anger. Yet he knoweth it not in great extremity. Therefore doth Job open his mouth in vain? He multiplieth words without knowledge. He's just running off at the mouth right now. Elihu also proceeded and said, Suffer me a little, and I will show thee what I have yet to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar, and I will ascribe righteousness to my Maker, as he should. For truly my words shall not be false. He that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. Really, the only one I know of that's perfect is Jesus. Behold, God is mighty. He's almighty. There's a difference. And despiseth not any, not true. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. God does hate certain people. He certainly does. He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings that are on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. Yes, they are, and they still are. That's what forever means. And if they be bound in fetters, and be holden in cords of affliction, then he showeth them their work, and their transgressions that they have exceeded, that they've done more than the normal amount of transgressing. They've exceeded it. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasure. I'll read that again. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasure. Sounds good to me. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword. They shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in the heart heap up with wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them. They don't. They cry when they're free. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression. Even so would he have removed thee out of the strait into the broad place. He would have taken you out of the road and put you on the interstate, where there were no straightness. Where there no straightness? Where there is no straightness, I've got it. And that which should be set on thy table should be full of fatness. Not true. You should eat a little fat. It's good for your brain, but you shouldn't eat a lot of fat. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee, because there is wrath. Beware, lest he take thee away with his stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. Doesn't matter how much money you got. If he takes you out of here, you're out of here, period. So I wouldn't be mocking God too much. I wouldn't be walking too close to that line. And Job's awful close. Will he esteem thy riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. Desire not the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity, for this hast thou chosen rather than affliction. Behold, God exalteth by his power. Who teacheth like him? Nobody. That's who. Who hath enjoined him his way? Or who can say, thou hast wrought iniquity? Remember that if thou magnify his work which men behold, every man may see it, and may behold it afar. Magnify God's work. Be proud of it. Show it off. Behold, God is great, and we know him not. We got to fix that. Neither can the number of his years be searched out, because he has been here forever. That's why. For he maketh small the drops of water, and they pour down rain according to the vapor thereof. That's the jet stream, by the way. That's that same thing. Which the clouds do drop and distill upon man abundantly. So that he even understands convection and rain. So he even understands that the cloud sucks up the moisture and then drops it on the people, and then it feeds everybody. Water, that precious mineral of life. Also, can any understand the spreading of the clouds, or the noise of his tabernacle? Behold, that's space. Behold, he spreadeth his light upon it, and covereth the bottom of the sea. For by them judgeth he the people. He giveth meat in abundance. I could use some meat. With clouds he covereth the light, and commandeth it not to shine by the cloud that cometh betwixt, or between. The noise thereof showeth concerning it, the cattle also concerning the vapor. At this also my heart trembleth, and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice, the sound that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. How many ends does the earth have? The answer is 4. And it after it a voice roareth. He thundereth with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. God thundereth marvelously. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. There's that former and latter rain again, symbolism. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work, that the beasts go into dens and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. So they understood astronomy then also. They knew about cold fronts and such. And Doppler. By the breath of God's frost is given. By the breath of God, frost is given. There should have been a comma there. and the breadth of the waters is straitened. Also, by watering, he wearieth the thick cloud. He scatter his bright cloud, and it is turned around about by his counsels. And they may do whatsoever he commandeth them upon the face of the world in the earth. He causeth it to come, whether for correction, or for his land, or for mercy. Hearken unto this, O Job. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Be still and know that I am God. That's where we're going to stop for today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll pick up tomorrow night, 37:15. And what a great book this was. How intense. I hope you learned something. I hope you picked up something valuable. I hope that you see the awesome power of God working in this man's life. And I hope that you seem to understand that that very same thing is happening in your life as well. Won't you please take a moment and become a member and press that subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notifications of when I'm going to be here. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. Just touch it, for God's sakes. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, convert me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Drink your own Kool-Aid as long as you're thinking. Critical thought, that's what I want coming from that brain of yours. And if, only if, you see the value of the power of the Word of God and you want to be part of something special and you want to help me make this thing a great place, won't you please take a moment, go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. Tithes, offerings, love offerings, even a cup of coffee. It all helps. $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever you got. If you got it. If not, it's free. Works either way. And with that, I will fix everything by answering your questions. Thank you for your support and your confidence. The book of Job is a great consolation for anyone trying to understand suffering and staying with God, as well as wrestling with Him, which is what Israel means. Yes, Israel means to wrestle with God. That's correct. As Jacob, who was named Israel, actually physically did all night long, so much so that God had to cripple him. He basically had to cheat to make Jacob let go of him. He wasn't going to let go. So God had to break his hip or do something to his leg to make him let go of him. I got you. April, what'd you think of the book? Did you learn anything? Did you find out anything important tonight? Because it's very important. Every word. Might even win over old Caucasian. I got something good for you. Look at this. Can you see that? Oh, that's a good bowl of chili right there. Man, that's good. That's real homemade chili right there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's good looking. It's a little thin, Missy. Got the right flavor, but it's a little thin. You need to make it cook a little longer. Chili ain't soup. It's chili. But it's delicious, though. All right. Pardon me, I haven't eaten all day. Except for a sandwich. And that's just too good. I've been thinking about that since the podcast started. Today was my brother-in-law's birthday party. So I went over and spent the day at my sister's house. And we hung out all day and enjoyed each other's company. And I got home about 20 minutes before podcast airtime. And so I went ahead and started everything up and let it roll so you could hear some good music. I'm going to tear that up when I get done tonight. I bet I'll pay for it too, but it's worth it. Diego. So did we. So did you what? So did we what? I missed it. Sorry. Oh, I was at my uncle's house. I got you. So you did the same thing I did today. Spend time with family. Got you. It's good to do that every now and then. I spend a lot of time alone, so it's nice to be able to be with family and friends. I enjoy this podcast because of you guys. I hope you know that. And I hope you feel that coming from me. I love you. I really do, truly. When I say that every night, I love you true, I mean that shit. We had fun at New Year's. What did you do? Did y'all watch the ball drop and all that good stuff? Did you get drunk and kiss somebody? Did you get a little nookie? Job is also scientifically accurate. Yes, I believe I made that statement a few times. There's a lot of science in this very old book. And if you have the ears to hear it and the eyes to see it, you can pick it out. It's right there. April, what'd you think, honey? I'm talking to you, kiddo. Talk back. Come on, good buddy, got your ears on. Even before science discovered these things. Amen. Caucasian, are you still with me? 420? Where you at? I'm interested to hear what 420's got to say about this book. Because he doesn't do a lot of editorializing. And he needs to. Job and the Bible have more real science, not science by Marxists. Etzle og Bay Andenbray. I wonder if I can get kicked off for Pig Latin. It's been a while since I've spoken in Pig Latin. Yeah, they didn't have Marxism in those days. I bet there wasn't even a Marcus on this world. Yeah, there was. There was one. Did you hear him? He said, Mark, Job, and hear this. Actually, he meant write down what I'm saying. Mark, as in Mark. It was a joke. Sorry, that's Bible humor. Or the brown Klansmen who believe in evolution. What are brown Klansmen? You mean brown as in the writer brown? Or what? I don't get that reference. Brown Klansmen? Are you racist? Are you being racist right now? I'm not racist. I hate everybody. I'm from Georgia. I don't even like myself most of the time. You just deleted a bunch of stuff. Why? Oh, the so-called friendly atheist. I watched him today. The friendly atheist. Oh, brown Klansman. I got you. Yeah, I watched him today, and he still pisses me off. He was reading Leviticus. He ain't got very far either, by the way. We've done 307 episodes. He's in Leviticus. We've read all of the New Testament and most of the Old Testament. And I did Genesis and took him down a peg or two. In his words. But I still need to read Genesis in my words, because we haven't done that yet. I skipped Genesis. I don't know if you know that or not. Pretty sure I did. Because I believe it was the friendly atheist Genesis. He is every bit as bigoted. He just does it with a smile. Most of them do. Hitler had a smile too until he started getting all crazy. He started doing that meth and cocaine, speedballing it and going, he was serious about it. He didn't even know what he was saying anymore. He started out pretty good, though. I'm just saying, he did nothing wrong. He did. I'm trying to piss people off now. I'm sorry. I'm in a mood. It's the new year. It's on me. Oh no, he was just go watch it. It's on there. He was just doing what he does, you know. First of all, he's reading like a NIV, so it leaves out a bunch of details and gets a bunch of things wrong. He's getting mad at God because God killed 2 boys who didn't build a fire right. Remember, we went through that. That's not what he did. It had nothing to do with building the fire. They went and worshiped a false god and then took fire from that false idol and brought it into the tabernacle where God is. And God don't like that kind of thing. So he burned them up with that fire. Right out of their tunics, even. I'm not visiting his page. He is a waste of time. No, Jake. Well, I'm with you, brother. Thank you for being with me. I'll do you right. I'll tell you what's in the Bible and what it means and nothing else. I won't add anything to it, I promise. And if I do, I'll make sure you know it's my opinion. That's the difference. There's a part in the Bible where David, King David, before he's king, meets a guy who is the son of Saul named John. And I think John is a little sweet on David. I've read this many a times, and I've wrestled with it because God blessed them. But John is clearly homosexual. I don't think David reciprocated it, but I think John wanted him a little piece of David. I really do. I've read it a few times, and I've wrestled with that a lot. That is my opinion. I don't know that to be a fact. I'm very possibly wrong about that. But when reading that book, it feels a lot like a love story. And it's 2 dudes. And they like hugging each other in the field and hiding behind a rock and cohorting and kissing on each other and stuff. And it's freaky. And it bothers me because David is King David, blessed by God. He can't be a homosexual. I don't think he was, but I think John might have been. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? You seem to know about as much about this book as I do. He was one of the people that made me go through a terrible faith crisis, I'm sure. I got over it when I discovered your Genesis series. Yes! Ripping the bullshit to nonsense. Love. You think that was just love? You don't think it was more than love, April? Have you read that verse? Or that book? I think we have read it. I'm pretty sure we have. Anyway, I've wrestled with it a lot. I'm not entirely sure I'm right, and I'm not telling you that's what it is. I'm telling you that's the way I see it. That's the way I perceive the words when they come off the page. I can only, the way that I teach is I allow God to work through me. I read, and then I let whatever comes into my mind come out of my mouth. If God tells me to say it, I say it. No questions and no thinking. I let it happen. And when I read that book, it feels like a love story. It really does. And it bothers me a little bit. I won't be ashamed to admit that. God knows, you're right. And I'm not going to judge him either way because it's not my place to do so. It's not my place to judge. If you're a transvestite or a cross-dresser, whatever you call, whatever the vernacular is today, I'm not going to get the pronoun thing. It's not going to happen. I'm a dude from the old days. You're a man or you're a woman, and that's it. That's how I see the world. If you want to do something different with your generation, that's fine. I will not judge you. But don't you dare turn it on me and make it my fault that you're not accepted. You're the one that made that choice, not me. You were born one or the other. You chose to switch. You're a pitch hitter. That's what you are. Admit it and move on. Now, if you want to be a pitch hitter, that's fine. There's a place for that in the world. I don't like it. I don't like the world to change. I'm old and stuck in my ways. But I'm not going to be here very much longer. I'm going to die, and you'll have it. It's yours. So do what you do. I won't judge you. I can't judge you. I'm not God. But mark my words, young thing, man, woman, it, whatever you are. Mark my words. Write it down that I said so. God will judge you. Period. What does that mean? Are you going to hell? I don't know. Is homosexuality a sin? It's not in the 10 Commandments. God does say that he hates it. He uses the word loathe, which is like skin crawly. It creeps him out. He hates it. Does that mean that he'll burn you for it? I don't think so. I don't think so, because God gave us 10 commandments to live by. And those 10 commandments are judgmentable, meaning he'll judge you on those 10 commandments. Homosexuality isn't in it. Smoking isn't in it. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. On and on and on. First one, thou shalt have no God before me. I am the Lord your God, period. On and on and on, right? I didn't say them all, but you got it. You understand. None of those say you can't be a man trapped in a woman's body or vice versa. So, it's entirely possible that I'm a bigot. Live with it. Deal with it. I'm not going to change. But you can. That's fine. Who am I to say differently? Here's what I say. Tell me a good story. Be nice to me. I'll be nice back to you. Ask me what I think, and I'll tell you. Yes, I remember when I destroyed him on homosexuality, and I said the same thing then that I'm saying now. He said he almost lost his friend because his friend came out as gay. He said that? And that was something that I did? Well, I'm sorry about that if that's the case. I didn't intend that. I wish no ill will against any person. Life is hard enough. The things about life make it way complicated. I didn't mean that. What I meant was the word of God says one thing, and you are mixing it up. That's what I meant to say. But I do remember. I've got it. I've got a video of it. I didn't do it? Okay, good. You had me scared there for a minute. I thought I done hurt somebody. Don't want that. Listen, young people. This new generation that's coming up, there's a lot of nonsense going on right now. And it's surely going to confuse you. I heard somebody say with their mouth yesterday. I was listening to a podcast. It was like one of those like Yellow Flash or Nerdrotic or somebody. I don't remember what show it was, but it was one of those kind where about 5 people are talking. And the guy said, when has there ever been any musicians that were men that looked like women? You never saw that before. That we're talking about K-pop, where these young men dress up in dresses and put lipstick on. I was like, you never saw that before? And I thought to myself, have you ever heard of a band called Poison? What about Motley Crue? What about Van Halen? I think you're wrong. I think we just didn't see it that way when we were kids. He said it. When was there ever a band of dudes that dressed up like women? Really? Were you born yesterday? Some of the best music in the world is made by dudes that were dressed like women. You ever seen Rod Stewart? What about Alice Cooper? His name is Alice. It's been here a while. This was happening in Roman days. This was happening before the flood. This has always happened. Go to YouTube and look up this phrase, Mouse Utopia Experiment, and watch that documentary, and you will understand how society functions and why people do what they do, including violence and drugs and gangs and people who become the precious ones that just sit around and groom themselves all day and become asexual and have no interest in the rest of the world. Mice do it. Dogs do it. Kangaroos do it. All things that are societal that get shoved into a small area and are provided for in the manner of socialism, always in that way. And then that's just before the society collapses. That's going to happen too. So, get ready. We're not always going to be the great USA. We might be MC USA or CA USA or RU USA. It's coming, folks, to a town near you. Remember when we read Revelations? You remember all that talk about the red, the battles of the red? There's 2 countries that identify as red. That's Russia and China. And they're going to attack somebody soon. And there's going to be a big war. It's coming. It's in the Bible. The Bible hasn't been wrong yet. It ain't wrong now. You think I'm wrong? Prove it. Hey, folks. Won't you do me a favor? Have I already done this? Did I do this already? I did this already. Forget.